Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about ordered pairs and relations. So we're going to be using the coordinate system, and if you remember from last year, the coordinate system is just a graph of the x and y axis. X, y. And remember this point here is called the origin because its coordinates are 0, 0. This was quadrant 1, and it kind of goes backwards, so we're going to go this way for quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now remember, when we are working in this quadrant, both our x and our y are positive. When we move over here, our x is negative, but our y is still positive. When we move to quadrant 3, everything is negative. The x and the y are both negative. And when we move to quadrant 4, the x is positive, but the y is negative. So this is just a brief review of the coordinate system. And today, in this lesson, we're only going to be using quadrant 1. Hold on. Okay. We're only going to be using this quadrant today. Everything that you're going to be graphing is going to be positive. So let's get into it. Be sure to pause the video anytime that you want to stop and take notes, and I do want you taking notes as you watch. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing you need to know is what a relation is. A relation is just a set of ordered pairs. Okay, it's a set of ordered pairs. And the domain are all the x values, and the range is all the y values. So let me show you some examples, and then there's a couple ways that we can write these relations down. So make sure you take these notes. The first way to write relations is by writing ordered pairs. So you're just taking the points and writing them down. Okay, so that's one way to write a relation. It's just listing the ordered pairs. Another way to write a relation is in a table. So the way that I wrote my list of ordered pairs, the table looks very similar to that. I'm just going to have a column for x and a column for y, and then I'm just going to write my ordered pairs down. Okay, so if I'm taking the first one, 0 is the x, 1 is the y. Next one, 2 is the x, 3 is the y, 5 is the x, 4 is the y, and 3 is the x, and 1 is the y. Okay, that's all there is to it. You're just literally listing the x values in one column and the y values in the other. And then the last way to show your relations or your ordered pairs is with a graph. Okay, so if I'm doing a graph, remember I told you today we're just using the positive quadrant. So I'm just using this quadrant over here. And remember, when you draw your lines, they're supposed to be evenly spaced, as evenly as you can. That's why I recommend graph paper if you have it. Okay, so let's list these ordered pairs now in my graph. So I'm going to take the first one, 0, 1. 0, remember the x value tells me to move right or left, and the y value tells me to move up or down. So 0 means I don't move left or right at all. I just stay at 0. And then I move up 1, and that's my first point. And I'm going to label these so I don't have to write the coordinates down. I can just write the letter next to each one, okay? The next one is 2, 3. So 2 means I move to the right 2, 1, 2, and then I move up 3, 1, 2, 3. And 2, 3 is right there. The next one is 5, 4. So I'm moving to the right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my last one is 3, 1. So to the right 3 and up 1. And that's my final point. So this is 3 ways that you can show a relation. And the book, when we get into the textbook, and you are going to have an assignment in there this week, it's going to tell you to do it one of these 3 ways. It's going to say list the ordered pairs. It's going to say make a table or make a graph. And then one other thing it's going to ask you to do is to list the domain and range. So if it says list the domain, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take all the x values and just write them down. That's it. And you're going to write it with your little solution set bars. Remember, it's kind of like a squiggly bar. So I'm just going to write them and divide them each with a comma. And then end it with that wiggly, squiggly bar again. Okay? And then if it asks me for my range, I'm going to do all my y values with the solution set bar. So my y values are 1, 3, 4, and 1. Even if it repeats, you're going to write it again. Okay? And that's it. So be sure to pause and take these notes down because I'm going to erase it right now. All right, so let me do a few examples for you from the book. I'm on page 36. And I'm at the top. I'm going to start with numbers 4 and 5. It tells me to graph each point on a coordinate system. Okay, so on page 36, number 4, it says graph each point on a coordinate system. So that's what I'm going to do. Now remember, they give me the H so that I can write H next to that little dot and I don't have to write the whole ordered pair there. So that's why the letters are there. So my first point is 5, 3. Remember, the X tells me to go right or left, and the Y tells me to go up or down. So I'm going to go 5 to the right, and then I'm going to go up 3, which puts me right here, and I'm going to label that H. And then my next point is 6, 0. So 6 to the right and 0 up. So I'm going to stay right on that x-axis. And that is point D. Okay, now number 6 and 7 give me a letter and say write the coordinates of this letter, Q and P. So the other ones are there just to kind of throw us off and make sure we know what we're doing. So I need to tell them what Q is at, what ordered pair is Q at. So I'm going to move to the right first. It looks like it's over 2 and up 3. So it's over 2 and up 3. And now I'm going to do the same for P. So how many does P go over? It looks like P goes over 6 and up 5. I know my graph isn't exactly accurate, but 6, 5 is where P is at. Okay, so number 8 has a lot of directions, so I need to make sure that I complete everything it's asking me to do. Number 8 says, express each relation. Remember, a relation is just a set of ordered pairs as a table and a graph. So I have to do a table and I need to do a graph. And then it says to list the domain and range. So I've got to also do domain and range. So maybe I can squeeze that in up here, domain. And I'm just going to do it right now while we're writing it. So domain is all my x values, 2, 0, and 5. And then my range is all my y values. 5, 2, 5. Okay, so that we just fulfilled 2 parts of the directions, list the domain and list the range. And now we're going to go back and we're going to make a table and a graph. So remember, a table is just listing the x's and listing the y's. All right, so I'm going to do my ordered pairs 2, 5, 0, 2, and 5, 5, just in the order that they're written. Okay, they fall right into my graph super nicely. Or my table, sorry. Okay, so now for the graph, this is my y, this is my x, and I need to go to 5. I prefer to label my graphs. The book did not label graphs for this lesson, but I feel like it makes it a lot easier if you write the numbers on there. Okay, so I'm just going to plot each point now. And I'm going to remind myself, since we're using all positives, my x is going to go to the right, my y is going to go up. So it means I'm 2 to the right and 5 up. And I'm just going to write the ordered pair next to each point because they did not give me letters for this problem. And then the next one is to the right 0, up 2. So I'm going to stay on that y-axis and just go up to the 2. And that is 0, 2. And then the last one is over 5 and up 5. So over 5 and up 5. And that's it. So we listed the domain, we listed the range, we made it into a table, and we plotted the points on the graph. Remember, you must write those ordered pairs on your graph next to your dots. And if there's no letters and you want to put letters so you don't have to write the whole ordered pair, that's totally fine. You can just call them A, B, and C, and then label them A, B, and C. Okay? All right. The next example is the same as this, so I'm not going to do it again, but feel free to rewatch the video and take notes and do your best. Email me if you have any questions. Thanks.